When you were young, did you ever play what-if stories? I mean, this is building on the Sophianic myth. And in the Sophianic myth, the story says that at the center of our galaxy, a four-limbed galaxy, of which Earth is situated in the solar system, and the third limb of a four-limbed galaxy. What if Gaia Sophia, Planetary the intended, what if they intended her to plunge here all along? I mean, what if? What if it wasn't a mistake that she leaned in so closely that she became mass and found herself in this situation where there is a parasitic infection that exists on our planet, that's running things, that's ruining the environment. So what if she knew what was going to happen, but didn't know what it was going to be like? Okay, I have had 2 babies, both naturally. I intended on doing it naturally. My body and the size of my babies allowed me to do it naturally. I intended to have children, and I intended to have a natural birth, but I had no idea. Nothing could prepare me. No amount of breathing classes could prepare me for the absolutely, not terrorizing, but like intense experience of giving birth. My body literally felt like it was going to rip in two. It 100% feels like you're going to rip in two. I had midwives. They massaged the perineum. I didn't have any tearing. There was no need for any of that. And it was a rite of passage. I did it. I'm not here to show off that I gave birth naturally twice. No. What I am saying is this. I had no way of knowing how terrifying it was going to be. To feel like I was going to rip in half, and I had to keep having faith. I had to keep reminding myself that it was just going to be all right. And that's my news. It is going to be all right, because it is all right. Now, let's say that Sophia and Valete were sitting in their laboratory, figuratively sitting, because we talked about the center of the galaxy, and not information I've gotten from John Lam Lash, my Gnostic teacher on the internet. So in the center of our four-limb galaxy, there's actually just white taffy, like swirls and whirls. And think of it as that opal iridescence that you see, that it's a color that came out a little while. It's like white, but it's got all the colors of the rainbow in it. It's like what you see when you look at the sun and you close your eyes and you get the rainbow lashes. It's that look. It's the diamond sky bikini look that you'll see. Every now and then you'll see the light sparkle and like all rainbow, but not all cloistered together, like a rainbow would be with the highly densely cloistered water molecules because it just rained. It's usually just what you see in the light. Okay? I forgot where I was going with it, but my point is that, yeah, actually, I remember. They were at the center and they decided that there was an infection that was so bad in this galaxy that Sophia volunteered. She's badass. Anyone on this planet that realizes what's going on, that is fighting the good fight, is badass. Seeking to have a consciousness and awareness level beyond what's being shoved down your throat, presented to you, mass-produced and otherwise propagated, to have your own thought process and reality check. and to look for answers to your own heart's yearning, your own soul's inner prompting to look someplace else besides what's been handed to you. All that seeking I have found the Sophianic myth. And what if she actually intended to plunge here? That makes things a whole lot more interesting, doesn't it? It does to me. I'll tell you why. As above, so below, okay? So, what problem do we have on this planet? We have an infection. We have a neural hack. And we have people seated in the mind, and we have a parasitic infection. Now, John Lam Lash refers to them as archons, and he is responsible for that term because the archons, when you take that word and you do etymology on it, it means ruler. I think somebody should Google Queen Elizabeth draconian hand gesture. I mean, what's up with this? Or is it this? No, she goes like this. What's up with this? I mean, what's up with this? She doesn't do anything but this. What is this? And I've already discussed with you in other videos, I believe that you can detect a draconian offspring, basically infected human bloodline, by the crown jewels they have. This is not an endorsement for Bold Rock. I'm drinking something else. I'm drinking a microbrew out of my Blue Light Special. The blue light is Gaia Sophia's color. That's what religion stamped. They took her color. It's painted in the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. Excuse me, in the church that is beside the Sistine Chapel, which is more fascinating. I just drifted off there because I went there into Rome years ago, and I remembered looking up at that blue and just being so fascinated. Speaking of Rome, the staff is stolen from the Druids and the pagans who were able to actually propel their body with their power staffs. We always see warlocks with a staff. I've woken up in dreams with a staff. That staff was used to propel me within a certain amount of acreage, well, no, at a certain height along the ley lines usually. Any place where there were more powerful mineral deposits that could act upon my intention, because you fly by intention and by directing the energy of the staff and my own energy. So I explored in another video the idea that the little aborted fetuses, that I call them that because that's what John Lam Lash calls them, they are part of this infection. There's different levels of infection. There are idiots all the way up to dangerous masterminds of like evil beyond evil. Evil beyond evil exists here on our planet. It runs through the royal lines, the royal bloodlines. No shit. Think about it. Think about it. That all the pieces suggest this. What if Gaia Sophia, according to John Lam Lash, didn't wake up in the dream and become lucid and gain agency, which is the ability to will things, to do things, until the French Revolution. And then she was like, oh shit, because she'd been unexpectedly out cold. Meaning her conscious wasn't there. She wasn't available to do anything but be in a dream in which things were happening to her children, us. Oh, so much has happened now. She's helping us with correction. Now, as above, so below. Keep that thought in mind. What she is doing, I have done in a small, tiny way. All right. I swallowed 3 years ago some water in the North Carolina mountains that had a single-cell protozoa in it called Giardia. And the way I knew I had it is that I started getting a very difficult feeling right outside my digestive tract, where my stomach empties into the intestinal system, right there. And then the poops started really being bad. And I was away from my home. I was in the North Carolina mountains at a sanctuary and jiving with the spirits. However, I saw a couple blue orbs, some fairy lights, some fairy blue orbs floating. One big one, too. So where I'm going with it, I'm not showing off about my ability to see orbs. That's the only place I ever saw them at. They're probably very, very prevalent there. I saw it in Frodo's cabin. That's the name of it. And I plan on going there sometime. I want to stay in that cabin. But first I have to bring a dustbuster that runs on a charge, because the place is filled with all kinds of little creepy crawlies, and I'd like to suck them all up and then take them out into the forest and release them and say, do not come back to Frodo's cabin until I am gone. It's made out of stone. So I went to the doctor because, and he had me do a poopy test and it came back negative, but of course I knew what it was because he said it's really hard to get that in the feces. And he's right, because the feces are putrid and they run terribly. It's the worst thing I've ever had to experience that happened to my body. So I got a whole bunch of herbs. Wormwood was one of them, and then I also got some enzyme to help with the parasite. It's all there. It all exists. I think $250 to $300 later, I was armed with all the herbs and enzymes that I needed, and herbal extracts, and golden seal root, and garlic tablets, that I attacked that thing and made, essentially, I had to figure out what it was. Oh, I didn't tell you this. The other clue, I didn't know what to do. I'm like, okay, I have an infection. What is it? It's a single-cell protozoa. I could tell there was an intelligence there. It wants to stay alive. It stays alive through photosynthesis. The best thing it can do is attach to my intestinal wall right after it leaves the acid environment of my stomach, and then start leaching my life out of me. And it won't kill you quickly, or maybe it won't kill you at all. I don't know, because who would let that go on and on and on? You wouldn't have any nutrients. That thing takes all your nutrients. Okay, back to the point. What I decided I was going to do was communicate with it, realize it was an intelligence, and tell it it had to leave, and it was going to have more luck in the sewer system than it was in my body. And then I made my body inhospitable. What happened just this winter? I got a strep throat, streptococcus. That is an intelligence, and it's a virus. And I think, and basically I realized, okay, what doesn't it like? It doesn't like a pH balance that's alkaline. So I created alkalinity. You do things like hydrogen peroxide, 50% with water, gargle. Oh, you keep your teeth really clean, really clean. Like you have to keep your teeth ultra clean because it loves the plaque, and it will stay there in your mouth. So you do your gargle with the pH balancing hydrogen peroxide with water. You do oil pulling with coconut oil. Make your environment unfriendly. After a week, it was gone, and I couldn't go anywhere because I was contagious. I was told that maybe I was a walking antigen provider. Maybe now I have androgens that will prevent me from getting strep throat in the future because I healed it with my own body with the help of herbs. I use other things besides the pH. I did a lot of garlic. So, what if Sophia and Thaletta intended on her being here so that she could call her children home? What if the way our consciousness is working is that she put up her shield in like 2014, a blue one. What if she now is broadcasting because now there's more information coming in to us through the sun? What if she's transmitting? What if we've got the higher guidance of our own higher selves? We can name them things. I'm not using the hierarchy of any of the angels under the God Matrix. You can call it the angelic realm if you like. I'm going to call it the higher realm of handy helpers. And the handy helpers are here to assist you, and you have to invite them in. I invite the handy helpers to continue to teach me how to gather the energy of the earth so I can build my own shield. So I did that tonight. I went out this evening, this sunset, I went out and gathered sun. I was at this point. It was really beautiful. I went to this place where there was a tree, and basically my body needs exercise, so I get my heart rate up, but then I will allow what's being called to me I'll answer it. Like it might be a tuft of grass, and I go over and touch it and love it. And I just spend love into the beautiful green grass tuft that looks like a little creature. And then the tree that I leaned against, well, I got to my destination, which is the end of my trail, and then I come back the same way. And I hear the mother and child reunion is only a motion away. Paul Simon's song. And the mother and child reunion is only a motion away. It's a very comforting song. I'll find it somehow and play it for you, but I'll put a link for YouTube below. Maybe the lyrics have some significance for me. But yeah, it's like the mother and child reunion is only a motion away. And when I heard that as a girl, I knew it wasn't about my mother, my birth mother. And now I understand it. So the consciousness I have of myself as a divine child on the cell of the body of Mother Earth, the consciousness I have allows me to become one with her. Using the Shakti Cluster App allows me to become one with her. I'm not going to show you the Shakti Cluster App. This is a talkie. But I do that every single day. And I will tell you that I like the practice of memorizing it and looking at it and then bringing it to my throat and then broadcasting it from there. And that's what I did at the end of my journey before I got the song in my mind. And I saw the organic white light, my version of it. This isn't the kind that the people who have had plant helpers see. This was I knew what it was. I felt it. I knew what it was. It was just plain love. It was so profound I cried. It was like, right. So I'm now included in my tool bag the imagery of the blue light guiding me. I had blue light come out of my meteorite. In prior videos, I talk about how I found a meteorite, and then over 20 years later, it shot out a blue beam, and I had a Kundalini rush. I had put this stone on my altar, and I was intending, I used it as my prayer transmitted satellite dish. So it would both receive and transmit my intentions. And I had no idea I would get a bolt of blue light out of my meteorite. Boy, did that surprise me. So, share it with me if you wish. Some of your own insights. But I like this idea. What if, just like I intended to find out how to make my body unhospitable for the Giardia, and then later on, this last year at the end in the wintertime, streptococcus, strep throat. What if Earth is the antigen? What if we are badass and we're here to learn what this archontic infection is and how to become immune to it, how to protect our bodies from it, how to protect our minds from it? I'm not here to save the planet. I'm not here to convince other people to go to the blue light special. Whatever you do, don't follow the false light, to the false counsel, to the false judgment day, to the false all that shit. I don't believe it. I refuse to believe that's what happened. I just plain do. What I will accept is that I am sovereign. I am here with a purpose. I recall of having a sense that I knew life wasn't just about getting an education, getting a job, making money, having a retirement plan, paying taxes, and dying. I knew that. I used to call my life an experiment. What happens if I live completely 100% in a free sense of my own sense, not relying on the government, not expecting Social Security, not plugging into the system at all? What if? That's the way for me to get to my truth, to get to my blue light, to get to my way of getting out of this place. We got to get out of this place. Girl, there's a better place. Girl, there's a better place for you and me. We gotta get out of this place. If it's the last thing I'm gonna do, girl, there's a better life for me and you. I know I'm not the best singer, but you got the song, I'm sure, if you're of my age group or older. Dun, 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 dun. Girl, there's a better place for me and you. Yes, another dimensional level up. Level up. This is the Agon. This is the game. Level up. I've got like LED lights out there now. They went around summer of 2018. Guess what they did? City workers paid to kill their own citizenry slowly. Like when they spray glyphosate, Roundup, all over the greenway. You can smell it. Here are red ones. Ah. This makes everything softer. Here are orange ones. Even that's tolerable and I can see better. Red's a little bit hard to see with. But you do this because I live in a city. I must adapt not to the condition but to the requirements I have of living in that condition. For instance, you adapt to deep sea diving by wearing a diving suit and wearing oxygen and whatever other gases you need on your back. Unless That's what you do. And if you're a free-form diver and you do one of those nut job things of going all the way down to the bottom, then you're using meditation and relaxation techniques and breathing techniques and mental discipline to do that, to be able to adapt to that environment. So that's what you got to do. So the yellow ones, to me, right now, they're not doing anything. I think orange are probably the best ones for me. Where do they get these glasses? Excuse me. Aromatools.com. They're not the coolest of cool, but they do go over glasses. So I've gone out walking at night before it, like this. Hey, I like the red ones for walking out at night, but you can't see the ground. So then you have to use your other senses. So that's the other thing. You can use your hand tendrils. So adapt or do without your brain. Adapt or do without your full faculties. I love my life. I love who I am. I love John Landlash's work. I love the Sophianic myth. I love the Shakti Cluster App. And now I'm loving this story. What if the earth and we are on it to learn about this archontic infection and to somehow create antigens for the rest of the world? All we have to do is look at the ludicrousness of it. When I get off of here tomorrow, I'm going to do it, not now. I am going to type in Queen Elizabeth draconian hand gesture. Because remember, she's mimicking us. We're the one with the crown jewels. I'm going to prove it to you. And also, this is really funny because it's got a little red spotted mushroom picture. When I was, oh my goodness, I was born in 63. I did this in 1970. So that makes me what? 7? Do you see this? All right. Do you see? Do you see the crowns? Oops. Let me put it up real close. Look. Crown. Crown. Yeah. Yeah. There's the mushroom. I have on it, it says my future home. I fully intended to have 3 blue clouds, 3 blue clouds, a home and a mushroom, and a man coming home to me with a sunflower. Life is good. We can do this. We can become inhospitable to the parasite. We can raise our own level of frequency by tapping into the telluric current, by practicing Planetary Tantra. To get normal about sexuality again, and that's a whole nother subject. Thanks for beaming in. Be a bold rock. Be a bold rock. We can do this, and we're doing it. Rise to the occasion. Rise above. Claim your power. Own yourself. Ra, 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 shishkamba. Mani padme om. The jewel is in the lotus. Your own body, your own senses. And you're aboard the mothership. And it's January 2019. Kali Yuga period coming to a close.